In this episode, we explore the various flavors of compassion and wonder as to which one of these stances lead to genuine connection. Recently, my best friend woke up in the morning to the devastating news of her cousin's death. The cousin had just become a grandmother a couple of days before her untimely death after a short struggle with a terminal illness. Each morning dawns, bringing forth so many versions of reality for each one of us. This morning, for instance, dawned in various hues for so many mothers that I know. One woke up to loving greetings and gifts from her children for her milestone birthday. Another is achingly remembering her child in rehab trying to get clean. Yet another mother is grieving the horrendous murder of her adult child. One mother is quietly fading away in a nursing home. Another is longingly looking at her daughter she left behind in the earthly realm, thinking what she wouldn't give to be able to hold her one last time. In my kitchen, my son is lovingly preparing me breakfast as I prepare for this podcast. So then, what is reality? Is there such a thing as one reality? Or are there 7.8 billion versions of it? Or is all of it an optical illusion? And more importantly, how do I relate to the reality of these other mothers? What is my relationship with the grief of one mother, the longing of another, the fading of the third, and the spirit of the fourth? How do I relate to their suffering when my entire being is filled with so much divine bliss, my heart bursting with creativity, my life abundant with so many joys? Should I feel guilty, happy, grateful, sad, apologetic, angry? How can I be with all these billions of versions of reality? The spiritual teacher Wayne Dyer used to say, you can't be sick enough so another would get well, and you can't be poor enough so another could get rich. So, feeling guilty for my own version of reality is to me the most useless and powerless stance I could take. So, I decided to discard that. Then what? I can be compassionate towards the suffering of others. In thinking about this, I discovered that there are several flavors to compassion. I made up most of these flavors, so I will own it. There is guilty compassion, in which you feel guilty for your own happiness. Empathic compassion, where you tend to merge with others' suffering. Sympathetic compassion, where you feel pity for others. Martyr compassion, where you sacrifice your happiness because you don't feel you deserve it. This usually follows guilty compassion. And then there is fake compassion, where you think you have to practice it because it's politically the right thing to do or because your religion says you should. I love this term, idiot compassion, coined by Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche, where you use your compassion to enable others. Many of us, especially those in the helping professions, fall prey to this one. It is loaded with enabling, codependency, and lack of boundaries. Heroic compassion, where you are playing God in the search and rescue game, is another form of compassion. I could go on and on. What stance should I choose? In the research conducted by Brene Brown on compassion, I was shocked to learn that the most compassionate people on the planet share one common trait. They have the healthiest boundaries. What does that mean? Here, I borrow the words from one of the kindest, most compassionate teachers that I have ever met, Dr. Rachel Naomi Remen. In her book, My Grandfather's Blessings, Rachel talks about compassion. She says, and I quote, perhaps the final step in healing of all wounds is the discovery of the capacity for compassion, an intuitive knowing that no one is singled out in their suffering, and that all living beings are vulnerable to loss, attachment, and limitation. It is only in the presence of compassion that we can show our wounds without diminishing our wholeness. The Dalai Lama has said that compassion occurs only between equals. For those who have compassion, woundedness is not a place of judgment, but a place of genuine meeting, concludes Rachel. Therefore, I have decided on the flavor of guilt free compassion. I feel that everything in life is an inside out job. Only when I am working from a place of highest good for myself can I work towards the highest good of others. Only when I am filled up with well being can I work towards the well being of others. Only when my boundaries are healthy can my compassion be clean and agenda free. Only then can I truly take you into my heart as if you were made in my very own image. In the end, is there really a me and you? Thanks for listening to this episode of the Wild Crone Wisdom with your host Vinutha Mohan. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist from the Bay Area, California, specializing in trauma and attachment repair. I'm also a certified EMDR specialist and a certified shamanic practitioner. In this podcast series, we delve into the journey of our spiritual essence having a human experience. While many social scientists study human emotions, thoughts, and behaviors, and others explore transcendental experiences, few bridge the gap to help embody the spiritual wisdom in everyday life. I call this the psycho-spiritual path. Through this podcast, I hope to share bite-sized practical insights for navigating life as an empowered sovereign being. If you found this episode valuable, we'd greatly appreciate your support. Please consider rating, reviewing, commenting, and subscribing on your podcast platform to help us reach a wider audience. You can explore more of my writings on Medium by following the link in the show notes. We'd also love to hear about your experience, so feel free to share your thoughts with us at Wild Crone Wisdom Podcast at gmail.com. Thank you for being part of our journey. Please be advised, the information provided in the Wild Crone Wisdom podcast is intended for general information purposes only. Vinutha Mohan is a licensed therapist and healer. However, the content shared in this podcast does not replace or constitute professional advice, therapy, or counseling. It is essential to consult with a qualified mental health professional for personalized guidance regarding your unique circumstances. Thank you.